Oh, there's a butterfly garden.
Yeah,
Now we have
Boys
a
and girls,
butterfly garden.
Mr. Stanza would like for you to know that, see the red car on the street there in front of the bluish building, the blue and brown building?
Yeah.
It has a sign on top that says Baptist Campus. Well, in that building, Robert Frost lived with his wife, and his first child was born there. And he lived there because his mother had a private school there. So his mother was either a schoolmaster or a school teacher, and that's where he and his wife and his oldest child lived.
Wait, is
Isn't that interesting? Right next to the Oliver School.
like the easiest part. I have water all in this thing. Could fish be in that? Wait, it's on?
Follow us this way.
It's on?
So her name is Miss Abu Farah. Okay?
Is that your entire list?
That's my entire last name. I have a really long last name.
Okay, how A. B. Oh no, A. B.
There you go.
Abba, 3. Abba Farah.
We'll have to test you on that one later. Because that's a long way. All right.
No, Ryan Hutton.
He died 1963.
Come to you.
The whole fountain.
So this fountain is the Robert Frost fountain. It's a shame to say I did not know that. Oh, no growing. No more kids growing, okay? Oh, look at how beautiful you made it up here.
Maybe one of them can read the poem.
Okay. Who would like to read? Okay, do you want to read the first paragraph?
I'm going to do my normal one. Robert Lee Frost, born March 26, 1874, was raised here in Lawrence. His first published poem appeared in the Lawrence High School Bulletin. He graduated as, this is hard, valedictorian from Lawrence High School, along with his future wife and co-valedictorian, later Mariam White.
Lamika, you want to read the second paragraph?
Robert Frost poetry received international acclaim, being awarded the Pulitzer Prize for the best poetry of the year 4 times. He received honorary degrees from many universities, including Harvard, Dartmouth, and Yale. Robert Frost died January 29, 1963.
Nicely. One of you want to read the first 4 lines of the poem? Okay.
In the poem, Birch Frost wrote, I'd like to go by climbing a birch tree and climb back branches
help a snow white shrub. Toward heaven, so the tree could bear no more, but dipped its top and set me down again.
Here, Liz, do you want to read the last two?
I would be good going and coming back. One could be worse than being a stranger in a bridge.
Hannah.
The fountain in memory of Robert Lee Frost, with its constructed brook, granite falls, and native plants, represents the New England landscape, which is so much a part of its poetry.
Perfect.
Beautiful. Well done. Bravo.
So these flowers right here, they're geraniums, and these were the flowers that Robert Frost, he loved these flowers. So you guys planted something that Robert Frost really loved. So on 1, 2, 3, we're gonna give a cheer to Robert Frost. Ready?
Like a hip hip
So
hooray.
let's do hip hip hooray. Ready? On a count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Hip hip hooray! Nice. Awesome. Very good. Very good. Yay.
Excellent. One more, we'll be all set.
Very nice, guys. Good job.
Hi there. How are you? Oliver School. We're going to serve you. No, well, it's the same word, but it has a different meaning in this case here. Teachers. Are you on?
Very much.
Oh,
Thank you. They water for the children for the walk.
oh, thank you.
Yes, they got my.
Oh, so you're going around with that, all right.
Thank you.
I think I'll have some too. A toast to Lawrence. So we have Oliver School and Leahy School? Or is it all local?
Leahy and Oliver.
Okay.
And to Robert Frost. Yes.
Down for now.
You can sneak a little drink. Go ahead. So there we go. A toast to teachers and students and Robert and Eleanor Frost.
Robert and Eleanor. Cheers.
Is it done yet? No, not quite. You can drink. Oh, the toast. The toast is done.
And the library that brought us all here together.
And the library that brought us.
Thank you, gracias.
This is Robert. So how old? How many people are 10, 11, 11? 11? Who's 12? 10, 11? 9? You're 10. So all around that. So here's Robert and his sister Jeannie in this picture over here when they were just a little younger than you. The next 10 years later, Robert was 11 years old when his father died out in San Francisco. And he and his sister Jeannie, who was 9, they came on a train all the way on the train from San Francisco, California to Lawrence, Massachusetts, with his father's body, and he was buried up at the cemetery. Now, this is a little booklet that has the history of Robert Frost in Lawrence and his wife, Eleanor Miriam White. That's who the picture, those pictures, that's their high school pictures. And you can keep these, and it's a walking tour. It tells you where things connected to the Frosts are located, and many of them are right here around the common.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. And you'll see there's a sign about Robert Frost right on the Oliver School today. if as you're walking on the front path, on the right-hand side, you know how the building is like a U facing you upside down? On the right-hand part of the U, this is the map of the locations around the common. It's better than the one we have in here. But if you look at the right-hand side, I'm upside down. Here's the Oliver here, 7, right? Yeah. If you look on the right-hand side, you'll see it's the same size as like a no parking sign. It's about this big. It's tan with green letters. And there's 3 places, just a second, Jonas. Thank you. There's 3 places that are connected to Robert and Eleanor Frost in a row. The Oliver in the middle, the church that's on the left-hand side, and the house that's kind of boarded up on the right-hand side. Thank you, Jonas. Exactly. So somebody told you that, or did you read the sign? Do you remember how you? Someone told you. If you turn over the tour booklet, you see the little picture of the fountain where you just were. Okay. Did everybody get a cookie? Yeah. Okay. And this fountain, if you look down, you can look at it later. I'll just go over it quickly. But there are things in the fountain that are connected to his poems. On the left-hand side, the tree that's coming out of that semicircular situation, right now it's in bloom. It's got it probably has red flowers. You know, it's a crab apple, just like across the street. That's an apple tree. And then on the right-hand side, it wasn't there when this picture was drawn, but there's a birch tree. Okay, so the apple tree refers to after apple picking, one of Frost's well-known poems, and the birch tree refers to 2 poems, Birches and Young Birches. And then the fountain is made to look like a brook, natural water, a stream running, and there's 2 poems called Hyler Brook and West Running Brook that comes from. And if you walk this way, if you face the fountain and you walk this way, you'll see around, not where these stairs are, but beyond that, you'll see that the path goes uphill like this and it splits. And that refers to the road not taken, and which is probably his most famous poem. The poem I want to say for you today, and I bet that many of you know it, or you've heard it. In this grade level, they're memorizing poetry, right? Do they
No, they do not.
It's not in the. It's
Generally not.
Not in the standards, unless somebody puts it in.
That's correct.
This is a poem that's very short, but this is probably his most famous poem, called "Stopping by Woods."
We have studied Mr. Frost's work this year. In the winter, we were studying
You did.
poems that the grade
Here's a copy. I just don't want to take the time from. And you guys aren't little kids like to read a book, but I brought this so you could look at it, because this is a nifty little book that's just this poem. And to start out, one of the things I want you to see in this book is the man in the sleigh with the horse pulling the sleigh. Okay? Now, how many of you know the word beets? Right. You all like the beets. It goes, okay? Well, one of the things that's great about this poem is that Robert Frost told us later on, years after he wrote this poem, that what happened is he got this beat in his head, and he heard, he got da 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 da, and he just kept hearing this beat in his head, like a song, just like a song. The words in a poem are like the words in a song, and they have to have a certain beat. They have to have a rhythm to them to make them interesting. So look at the poem and read along with me. Our librarian, Louise, was nice enough to make these big letters for us to read. Stopping by woods on a snowy evening. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in the village, though. He will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. My little horse must think it queer to stop without a farmhouse near, between the woods and frozen lake, the darkest evening of the year. He gives his harness bells a shake to ask if there is some mistake. The only other sounds the sweep of easy wind and downy flake. These woods are lovely, dark and deep, but I have promises to keep and miles to go before I sleep. Anyone ever hear that before? Hmm? You ever hear that poem before? Yeah, you have. It'd be a good one to memorize, because memorizing a poem is a good way to get your memory working, because everything we do in school involves memory, doesn't it? Like when you learn to do your multiplication tables, but everything you do, you learn one skill and that builds on another and another. Now let me go back to the word, the beat or the meter. This meter, we could actually do this. If you think about it, when a horse, has anybody ever seen a horse in person walking along and hear it flip-flop, 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 right? You have, that's great. That's great. There used to be horses here in Lawrence. When Frost first came here, there was no motor cars yet, when he came here in 1885. Well, the sound of a horse flip-flopping along a road and the meter to this poem are the same. Hear this. Whose woods these are, I think I know, his house is in the village. Now, you don't say it like that. You don't say the poem like that, so it becomes too sing-song, it becomes silly. You say it much more slowly, but the underlying beat is da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da, flip-flop, 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 flip-flop. Whose woods these are, I think I know, his house is in the village, though he will not see me stopping here to watch his woods fill up with snow. So we have this man who's on a cold winter night is on his way home to his family probably. And he comes to a clearing in the woods. There's trees along both sides of the road, say. And then he comes to a place where there's a little pond, or he calls it a lake. There's a little lake. And there's a place where many trees have been taken down. So he can see the night sky better. With, say there's 100 yards in front of him, and he can see the night sky better. Even though he says it's the darkest evening of the year, it's still enough light from the stars. And he sees the snow falling, and he just flip-flop, 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 flip-flop. And once a horse gets going, and it memorizes things like children do, and this horse probably knew its way home. And for the driver to suddenly slow the horse, flip-flop, flip-flop, flip-flop. The horse, he tells us in the poem that he figures the horse is probably turning its head going, what? What are you doing? When he says he must think it's queer to stop without a farmhouse near. There's something else about these words. Does anybody notice anything about the word know, though, cheer, snow? Does anybody notice anything? How about queer, near, shake, mistake? What do you notice? They rhyme. They rhyme. So this is a poem that has a rhyme to it. And that makes the poem move along too. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Whose woods these are, I think I know. His house is in... What else could you say? His house is in the village, however. Does that rhyme? With no? However. That's a pretty long word, too. It's too long a word for this poem. It's too long for that sentence. It makes the sentence too long. So, flip-flop, 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 flip-flop. Let's see what else we have. Oh, here's that's pretty. I was going to say another poem with you today, but I decided on, when I heard how hot the weather was going to be and that you were going to go out and plant flowers, I said, This will probably make us feel cooler by doing that.
I'm not sure. I think I know what you're saying, but or like cool, or like cool.
Cool like not hot. Cool like putting ice on your head or turning the air conditioner on. But I also thought it would be cool. It's a double meaning. That's a good question. That was an excellent question, wasn't it? He asked me what I meant by cool. Was it cool like radical? That's the word you just said, radical? It's part of what's going on with me hearing you is this fan. I don't want to shut the fan off because it's too hot, but I was having a hard time hearing you. So he asked a very good question. It was both things. It's I wanted to cool you off so it wouldn't be so hot. Plus it would also be neat. How's that? It'd be kind of neat for you to hear that. Something else about this poem that you might find interesting is Robert Frost actually wrote it in the summer when it was hot. He was writing. He liked to write at night, and he was sitting in a chair with wooden arms, and he had a board across it. He would write, and he went to sleep. He had this bum 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 bum. He had these beats in his head, and he woke up. He fell asleep late at night. He woke up early in the morning. Took the board off, and he went from his living room and opened the front door. And he walked out into the front of the house and across to a great big field. And this poem came to him. Suddenly the beats, da 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 da. And here it is in the late third week in June, I think it was. He starts to write this poem. He turns around, he goes back in his house, he sits down in the same chair, gets his paper and his pen, and he tells us he wrote this poem he wrote it all out in one shot. I mean, he did it all at once. He didn't have to rewrite any of it. He got it stuck a few times maybe, but he wrote it right out. And we have a copy. It's not on one of these boards, but we have a copy of his handwritten, of when he wrote it. You know what? I put this booklet together and I didn't look today. I don't think I think there's a little piece of poem, but there's no. Oh, yes, there's pieces of it, right? That's right. Thank you. Some of you, if not all of you, speak Spanish or read Spanish too. Yes. Well, Robert Frost read a book when he was in Lawrence High School, which used to be where did you know that Lawrence High School used to be where the Oliver School is? Okay. So, when he was at Lawrence High School, he was reading a book called The Conquest of Mexico, and he got very upset about what happened to the Mexican Indians, and he wrote this poem. That's why this poem is called La Noche Triste. For a white Anglo-Saxon Protestant boy living in Lawrence in the 1880s and 90s, that was pretty extraordinary that he named his first poem. And the reason this is in here, this poem, La Noche Triste, also is it was the first poem that he ever saw get printed. It was on the front page of the Lawrence High School bulletin. And as you probably know, maybe my bad pronunciation, but Noche Triste means that sad night.
I just realized something when you keep saying your book is Frost. I remember Robert Frost High School.
Robert Frost School. There's the Robert Frost School, yes. And maybe you have to leave within minutes, right, to get back? How much more time can I take?
You have about 7 minutes.
7 minutes. Robert Frost, it tells you in this little booklet, almost at the back, it tells you about when he came here. The Robert Frost School in South Lawrence was named after him in 1961. And he came to dedicate. Now, the building that's there now is not the one he came to. The first building burned down, but the one that he dedicated. But that's where he came. It's in the same location. and he came. And there's a couple of people. Oh, we have some people here that were at the dedication. The ladies, one of the ladies that did your Mrs. Ross that did your did your, and you were there. Oh, and Mr. Stunzer was there. Oh, and Jonas's father was a member of the school committee. He's one of the people that voted to name the new school the Robert Frost School. Right? And Joyce was there. And guess what? I was in the 7th grade, and my teacher gave me his ticket to go and be a reporter and go back to the Weatherby School and tell them. So Robert Frost came here many, many times. And the reason we wanted you to know more about him in the end is you walk on the same streets, you walk on the same sidewalks, and walk across the same streets, and you play in the common, the same places that he did when he was a boy. And he became so famous. You see these 2 bookcases with the glass doors? He became so famous a writer that people from all over the world have written books. Those books, on both those cabinets, every single one of those books is about Robert Frost and his poetry. So a boy that went to Lawrence schools and grew up to be a writer became world famous. And you too can. You can as well. I encourage you to read this. If you have any questions, ask your teacher, because it gives you a good little short history of Robert Frost. Thank you for coming. I'm glad we got to spend this time. I have an extra copy of this you can take. And thank Mrs. Ross, the friends in the library.
Thank you very much.
Before you go back, if you have time just to pour a little more drink, they can. She has
Well,
more.
thank you so much. That was so interesting.
I'm glad you came. I'm glad you liked it.